I've seen so many kids at a young age way better than me, but they didn't put the work in. You gotta ask yourself what you want out of this game of basketball. If you want longevity in your career, you gotta be disciplined. You gotta continue to be consistent with the work, and you gotta start with a foundation that's just working hard. It's a lot of, I feel like people only see the result. Sometimes all the schemes and trying to be tactical is out the window. It's like, who wants it more? Without saying nothing, I always go off how I'm being guarded in games and who's guarding me and how hard they're trying to really, really do certain things. So I take that as a level of respect.
I gotta step up my game. I got these in the studio. I don't got those though.
We green? Green? Good? We good? Vamos? Okay, cool. I'm about to kick off. What's good, family? Welcome to another episode of The Flight Club, presented by Turkish Airlines. Today is a very special episode. We're gonna introduce our boy. It's gonna be an incredible day. But before we do that, we're gonna introduce the host. We got the Greek uncle himself, Mr. George Americanos. Let's give him a round of applause. Cheers!
That's what they call me, Unc.
Yeah.
I'm the Unc from America.
He's the Unc, bro.
I'm older than you. Psyched to be here. New project, great project. Shout out to Turkish Airlines for supporting the cause. Co-hosts, before we get into the superstar of the show, of course, co-host, SBB. You know, these guys are worldwide. They say Pitbull is Mr. Worldwide, but these guys are all over the place. The basketball nomads, Denzel and B. Shout out to you guys and being able to do this together. And of course, we got a certified superstar, a certified bucket, walking bucket, one of the greatest players in the history of the EuroLeague, Mr. Kevin Punter joins us for today's episode. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Always, man. Always. It was good.
It's gonna be a hell of an episode. I think this is one that a lot of the community want to know. They want to know from you. I think we're blessed to be here in Barcelona, and I think the best way to kind of kick it off is to ask a question that we're gonna ask all of our guests that come onto the show. What was your welcome to the EuroLeague moment? What was the first moment you took a step in the league and you were like, okay, I'm here now?
Did anybody give you the business? This is what we want to know.
You know what's crazy? I got a kind of different, unique situation. Because my first game, and I remember like it was yesterday, my first game was against Asheville on the road. Me and Wade Baldwin was in the backcourt, and that was the last time I started. That was the last time I played for real. So my welcome to the EuroLeague moment was kind of different from someone like cooking me or me being, you know, David Blatt had stepped down for some health reasons. And then for me, it kind of got rocky for me. So that was like my welcome to the EuroLeague moment, because before that, I won Champions League back-to-back, killing everything. So
there you go.
I'm like, I'm good now. Like, and then I get to EuroLeague, it's like, all right, cool, and then it don't work out for me that way. So that was kind of like my welcome to the EuroLeague moment, where it's like a little different here. You got to kind of earn your stripes. A little different for me.
Yeah. Cool. Go on, George.
We want to show you this little clip. Since you say you remember, check this out real quick. That's the game you're talking about?
Yep, 1,000%.
What's that? You recall that highlight?
Yeah, I had 10 points this game.
Your first EuroLeague bucket.
Yeah,
What was going through your mind at that moment in time? Because obviously, like you said, you had an experience before getting to the EuroLeague. Now you got to the EuroLeague and things have been a bit different. So what was that moment like for you?
It was good because like I've worked up until that point. I've worked so hard to get to that point. Once I started to understand what EuroLeague was, it was all right. This was a goal of mine and my agent. Like we got to get to EuroLeague. So for me to finally get there, to be back in Greece again, because I was with Ike, I was in Lario. So to be back in Greece again, I was extremely familiar with the city, where to go, things to do. It was perfect for me. They didn't play for David Blatt that lets his guards, you know, hoop, do their thing. So I'm like, all right, this is perfect. Got my first start, first game of the season. see the bucket there. So I'm good. I'm good to go. Like let's go. But yeah. So it felt good all in all. Even though it was some rough patches, I learned a lot, and it felt good though. It felt good playing for Olympiacos at that time, and they gave me a chance to come and do my thing, and that's it.
Was that bucket like a weight off your shoulders? You know, because
It was more so like one of those like, for me it was like no difference from EuroLeague and these other leagues or these other plays that I'm playing in. So I'm like, I can play. Like, this ain't nothing that, because when you're not in it, it's a lot of hype. Like this guy is that, this guy is this, and then you play against some of these dudes that everybody's talking about. You
that part.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That's how it was for me. You know what I'm saying? Just being a student of all these other players and then playing against some of them. It's like, okay, I see why he's that good, or I see why certain things, or certain dudes is like, nah, he ain't got it, or stuff like that. It's just basketball stuff, you know. So
You want to show him? Should we show him the second clip?
We got this little iPad segment. We got this little clip for you.
oh yeah, for sure. I like to watch it again. I'll watch it again.
So once it's between left pound dribble, it's going up every time, right?
Don't tell him the secrets, bro.
They know it, but they can't stop it,
it's
right?
a part of what I do, but it's not more so. It's not. It depends on what you're doing in front of me.
You're reading and reacting.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not just 1 or 2 dribbles and then it's for sure going up. It's more so if you put your hand in there, I'm going to keep it going again. If you don't, then I'm going to let it go. So it just depends on what you doing in front of me.
I think here they don't know that they shouldn't send you left because he's playing you side, you see? They shouldn't send you left.
So part of being new to EuroLeague, they don't really know.
Right?
They don't know you like that.
Okay.
So once he puts his hand in there,
Mhm.
it gives me the opportunity to attack that leg, that hand, and now you have to open up as a defender. And now you open up, and it is ball game after that.
Man.
But this is early. This is my first season, so no one knew anything about what I like, what my counters are, what I like to get to. So it was, believe it or not, I want to say maybe easier to score when no one knows who you are. You know, I'm not seeing the defenses that I'm seeing now. My first couple years in EuroLeague. So
Let's go to something that everybody wants to talk about, the shot that everybody brings up every
what
now
shot
and
is
then.
that?
You know what shot
Is
it
that
is.
the
The
for sure.
That's a big one. I love to see the smile it sparks on your face. And since you said that before, they didn't know what was going on. Right here, I got to ask you, why are they switching and why is Yabu down? Why is he in drop coverage?
I don't know. That's
They
a
should
question.
hedge, no? I mean,
it's late in the game, so most teams just automatically switch.
Mhm.
I guess they trusted him just playing one-on-one defense, which I mean I'm not mad at it, but you know, at the end of the game, honestly, is he gonna get a bucket or you gonna get a stop? Sometimes all the schemes and trying to be tactical is out the window. It's like who wants it more? Is it you gonna have better offense or you gonna have better defense?
Straight up.
Like that's just how it is.
And also, like in those moments, like I'd love to know from you, because you're in it. It's like it seems like no one wants to make the mistake. No one wants to help too hard off their man because they don't want it to be at their fault. So like everything that the coach tells you in that moment is like, all right, cool. But in the moment, all right, bet. If KP's going left, I could hedge, but I could also, I don't want the ball to go to my man, then it's on me.
Exactly.
So it's
now like, no, just play one-on-one defense, and if you can test it, make a tough shot. It's like you almost got
better hope.
Now, if it rims in and out, they'll say good defense. If you make it, good offense. So it's the game of basketball.
Denz, I want you to give this to KP, and this is a special one right here. I don't know if you've seen this one.
All right, quick little story time.
Hey, look who this is.
I know he's gonna remember this. I was younger, probably about 7 or 8 years old, and it was around Halloween time. And the place where we lived, like the building, like the complex area where we lived, they had like a Halloween party.
I already know about that.
From the building surrounding could come outside, you know, walk around, have fun. They had trick-or-treaters. It was real fun. And in one of the buildings downstairs, they were showing a movie to all the kids. It might have been a Charlie Brown movie. So movie starts, you know, I'm watching the movie, looking around, and the movie finishes. So I get up, I'm looking around, and I don't see him. So I'm wondering, all right, where's my brother at? And like, I'm looking around. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna walk home. Because home is right up the street. Like, it's not far. Home is right up the street. So I say, all right, I'm just gonna walk home. And I think his plan was to leave me there, go with his friends, walk around, have fun, and then when the movie was finished, come back and pick me up. But I don't think he realized the movie was gonna end as quick as it did. So he comes back to the building where the movie was being showed. By now, I'm at home. So he gets back and he thinks I ran away. I don't know what he was thinking, but he's panicking. And I'm at home, and he walks back like toward the house, and from the window, my parents and I were looking at him. He's outside panicking. Like, he don't know where I'm at. He don't know if someone took me. He's like losing his mind.
Hey man, get this out of here.
And I remember he came upstairs.
My fault, bro. This is what I'm saying. Like, I remember that day I was panicking. I get in the house and he in the crib. I'm just like,
I mean, you were talking about your mentality when it comes to like the end of the games, right?
yeah.
And you just like, sometimes the schemes go out the window. Or sometimes for you, it's just, all right, cool. It's either you get a bucket or you don't at that point.
Yeah.
And not everyone has that in them.
Yeah.
But a lot of the times, you know, as we're looking back at where you grew up, you know, your family situation, you having brothers and growing up in that environment in New York, how is it, or do you think that kind of impacted your mindset going into basketball? Because we know New York is a different place, man.
Yeah.
Right? When it comes to basketball, the mindset is crazy.
Most definitely. No more, you got to work for every single thing. And how I grew up just playing in the park, like, it's no pick and roll, tactical. It's, if you get scored on, you probably get off the court. Or if you can't score, they probably move you out the way. So you got to kind of fend for yourself out there. You know what I'm saying? You'll get just pushed around, whether it's in AAU, whether it's in high school. If you can't do nothing with the rock, or you don't have that type of confidence, you don't got to be that good. But if you don't have that confidence with you, then you may not make it in New York, because it's a million kids everywhere doing the same thing you're doing. So you got to really try to figure it out and have that sense of confidence and just working hard and try to really beat dudes out. So maybe that's where it comes from. I'm not sure. I would assume, but yeah, just also just working on your game. That's where a lot of confidence comes from. When you constantly just working, that's where the confidence stems from also. So I feel like it's a mixture. I've missed a lot of game winners and I've made a lot of game winners and made a lot of big plays. So it comes with the territory. So you just can't be scared.
I trust in your work, right? You're talking about the work you put in in your early days.
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot that goes into it that gets you to where you are. Like, people see you performing at the highest level, playing the game, winning shots, leading your team to the Final Four, etc., but they don't see the work.
Yeah.
And I really want you to, like, not only tell us, but tell the people back home, like,
Forget people, we're sitting here talking about 7 years. Oh yeah, that bucket was easy. Like, we've kind of taken your greatness, just like any other player, for granted. So as we said, can you tell us about the work that's necessary for you to put in to become the player you are today?
First, I feel like you just got to ask yourself, what do you want out of this? You got to ask yourself what you want out of this game of basketball. Because you may not want much. And if you don't want much, you may not put the work that needs to be put in. So I feel like you just got to ask yourself what you want. I asked myself at an early age, what did I want? And I understood what it took. Kobe was my favorite player. And I understood what it took to just work hard for something that you want. And then my dad always used to say, like, books and basketball. You know, that's, if you trying to get somewhere, you got to focus up, you got to handle your business. So that was real big in our household. And just studying the game, working hard, just always looking for ways to get better. I don't care. We don't care how good you are. I've seen so many kids at a young age way better than me, but they didn't put the work in. So over time, I passed them, and now some of them don't even play basketball no more. You know? So it's just a testament of, if you want longevity in your career, you got to be disciplined. You got to continue to be consistent with putting the work in at whatever level you at. If you're trying to make it to the NBA or a high level EuroLeague, whatever the case is, make a lot of money, you got to start with a foundation that's just working hard, that's being consistent, being disciplined, and whatever your vision is, whatever your goals are, and sticking to it. And there's gonna be some good days, gonna be some bad days, gonna be days where you don't feel like doing it. That's in any field. But how bad do you want it is what I would always tell anybody in any field. I don't care if it's not just sports. Like, how bad do you want to be the best show? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot of work. It's a lot. I feel like people only see the result, only see whether it's good, whether it's bad, and that's the part that can be frustrating in any position. But you got to really block that stuff out. You got to really block that stuff out and see the bigger picture of whatever you're trying to get to.
100%. I mean, and walk us through it, like, get even deeper, like, because we're, as Unc said, we're hoop nomads, so we go to, like, every court around the world, just trying to see what the culture is and understand, you know, what it takes and the differences and that stuff. So which court did you grow up playing on? And what was your path after that to get to where you're at right now?
So it was a court where I'm from called DeVoe Park. My mom didn't like me playing in there, really. She'll tell you. But just playing all the time, just playing against a bunch of different dudes that I knew that I kind of went to school with, then other dudes just from the area. And I playing there as much as I could. So stuff like that I remember, like just me just being in love with the game, just trying to hoop. But that's the culture of where I'm from and what I feel like real hoopers should be doing or they have done growing up. So
always. Like Dan said, the culture in New York is so unique. Obviously, there's so many stories about the guards that come out of New York. It's meant to be like this whole, they're meant to have the best guards in the world or whatever. But I feel like, what was the transition like from that moment? Like, I really want to know from you, like, when was it like, all right, cool, this is my goal, this is my aim, I want to make it to the league, I want to do this?
I always had it from a young age, but it didn't become a reality until my senior year in college.
Okay.
So I always, you always have these, I want to go to the NBA, but it may not be real. It may not be, you ain't an NBA player right now. Just, let's just be real, you know? So, but not until I got a little bit older, I went to junior college, it was still a dream, but it just wasn't quite, Then I went to the University of Tennessee my first year. I averaged 10 points, and it wasn't, I knew right then and there, like, all right, if I want to make a push at the league, I got to come back to school next year and average at least 20, at least to give myself a chance, and we have to win. Like, that was my only mentality. I have to dominate to where it's like, it's a no-brainer. I'm going. And that's pretty much what I did. I ended up averaging 22. And then, obviously, other stuff happened for me not to get drafted. But yeah, I just had that mentality from the summertime to whenever I got hurt. I had that same mentality. I have to. It was almost like my life was dependent on, like, and that's kind of like how I went about my entire journey up to this point. Like, it's like my life depends on. Early in my career, I was on 1 year deals. 1 year deals, like every season was like,
prove it.
Gotta prove it over and over. It's like a deal breaker. It's like my life depended on every single season, and I kind of calmed down maybe when I first went to Partizan. I saw my first 2 year deal. That's kind of when I kind of relaxed. But in the beginning of my career, it was like do or die. Like do or die. And then I feel like I came up the original way in Europe, where you had to go through all these other leagues, prove yourself to finally get a EuroLeague's situation and then flourish in that. There's only a few people. Now, outside of me, I know Mike James did it.
Francisco doing it right now?
Francisco is doing it, and this is why I'm a huge fan of him. Like, and much respect to the other guys but how I came up, I looked for players that had to make it my way, because this is the hardest way to get to EuroLeague. And to get to EuroLeague and be successful. And that's why I love Francisco Games so much, because like I remember when he was at Petasteri with Spanoulis. Like I remember, and I'm like, yo, he's good. He's good. And then kind of watching him grow and watching him get to where he's at now, is like I respect those journeys so much, because the mental capacity to start where he started from and to constantly win and earn every strike to get to where he got to is extremely hard. And we don't see that no more in EuroLeague.
Chima says this often, that the media, we overhype NBA players because they are NBA players, and maybe we don't appreciate guys like yourself, like Francisco, like TJ Shorts, who had to come from the European mud and reach this level. you spoke about your first 2-year deal. I want to know, when did you know you were him, and when did you feel like your peers accepted that, hey, this guy is cold and we respect him? Like, when did you know that, yeah, I'm him? And then when did your peers accept that as well?
Probably when I was that's a good question. I don't know. I don't really go into I don't know. I had different situations. So early in my career, I felt the him bar, but then I got to EuroLeague and got quickly humbled. So, and then EuroLeague, I could say maybe when I was in Red Star, but then COVID happened. Because, for example, when I was in Red Star, it was me showing that I can play at this level. And then I went to Milan after that and then got to the Final Four.
Yeah.
But I didn't still feel like the him bar. I never really considered myself that, if you want to label that. But I started to see the change when I got to Partizan my second year, possibly, because I go off of how I'm prepared for it and how I'm guarded, and I've seen the switch and the change over time. So like that's kind of like how I gauge it. Like, well, early in my career, I didn't get double teamed as much as I get double teamed now. So without saying nothing, I always go off how I'm being guarded in games and who's guarding me and how hard they're trying to really, really do certain things. So I take that as a level of respect. I don't feel like you don't have to say it. I don't need you to say
The
it.
defense.
You don't have to say out your mouth, this guy's that. But I'm going to go off of how you guarded me.
Gold. That's gold right there.
honestly. But I mean, you talked about that when you start getting acknowledged by other players, defenses and whatnot. But I'm sure at a certain point, it's not just players, it's other teams. Maybe that is the NBA. Did you get any look-ins from that? And what was your decisions on how to maneuver around that?
Yeah, I had 2 opportunities to go to the league. I had a Timberwolves opportunity, a two-way. That's when the two-way first came out. And then I had another opportunity a couple years after that to go with the Clippers on a two-way. But the first two-way, it just didn't make sense. And then the second two-way with the Clippers, it was just another situation where I had built myself a good resume so well in Europe where it didn't make the most sense to take a two-way with the Clippers. And then, obviously it's non-guaranteed and it just didn't make sense. And I was at the point in my life where I'm comfortable with Europe. I'm getting even more comfortable. I'm cementing myself even more with the league. So I was like, nah, it was just no longevity in taking that. It just didn't make sense. It was no longevity in taking a deal like that. And I'm all big with stability and longevity. And I was just like, nah, I'm gonna just stay in Europe.
The thing with that is like you hear it all the time. It's like the league doesn't necessarily have the best 500 X amount of players in the league. It's just about situational opportunity that allows them to be in that position.
Yeah.
And it's like you hear so many stories of EuroLeague players that, like yourself, turn down NBA contracts or NBA deals because the situation, the sustainability, but also the importance. Like there's, like you said this at the start, like the reason why you do this isn't just because of a dollar sign that comes into your bank account every month. It's like the passion and the love you grew with the game. So I think that's a lost art and people forget about that. It's like, you're just one of many people that turn down, the league, the NBA is meant to be the best league, but it might not necessarily have the best players. And that's clear because some of them are sitting not only on this couch, but they're in the EuroLeague themselves, turning down deals.
For sure.
Turning down deals.
1,000%. 1,000%.
I think that's one thing about European basketball that's so interesting is like, you get out the European mob, which you said, which I think is a nice touch, George, but it's like, people are turning down money, living back home in their own home country because of the game, because they can execute the game at the highest level. So I think that's something that gets lost a lot.
Nah, for sure.
I think dwelling on that and talking about your run, like bringing it to the current day. So we talked about your Final Four run in Milan. I think, like you said, that allowed you to go to a place like Partizan and give you stability, give you a longer deal contract.
Yep.
You make the second team, you know what I'm saying? You win the finals, all these things. Can you take us back to that moment, like realizing, all right, I'm going to Serbia now to play for one of the biggest clubs in Europe? What was that like for you?
It was tough because you got to understand, Jaco had just came back to, I think he was at Fener. I think he took a year off from coaching.
Yeah.
And then he went to Partizan. I'm coming off for Final Four. And mind you, Partizan wasn't EuroLeague.
Yeah.
It was Euro.
Euro Cup. You had to win the Euro Cup.
Now, I'm coming off a Final Four where it's like, you know, amazing. And now I'm getting a call from Partizan with Jaco, but it's Euro Cup. So it's like, I don't really know what to do, you know? So that right there was extremely, that for me was a tough decision. But one thing, I said it before too, like one reason why I took the deal, and we're going to take the financial part out of it, but his coach vision on what he wanted and how he was going to build the club to where we needed, stuff like that, he had me sold. And I'm real big on just being a visionary and just kind of just putting things in place to grow. I'm real big on that. So like the way he was thinking is the way I think. So I'm just like, man, and playing for him is you know how that is. That's like you playing EuroLeague anyway. So I'm just like, and he already had let me know like, we gonna be EuroLeague the second year. I'm just like, I know making this move is gonna send the internet in a frenzy, but and everyone said I was crazy for it. And I never forget it, when I made that move, people called me all types of names. And I dealt with that for a whole year. All types of, you crazy for this and that. And the second year, we did what we did. And I just laugh now. Because now everyone talks about Partizan, viral this, viral that. But when I first signed it, they looked at me like I was bugging out, like I was so crazy. And now look, you know what I'm saying? So that's just, you know, they didn't see what I seen at that point. I know it may have looked crazy, but they didn't see what I seen at that point. So, yeah.
100%. I mean, and I want to ask you as well, like, what did you see in the EuroLeague in terms of like players and whatnot? Because obviously you're coming from America, right? So, and the stigma at that point is, you know, America's better than Europe. In general, straight up, that's what it is. And it still is like that, right? But were there any players that you saw in the EuroLeague that you were like, okay, cool, I might need to watch this guy?
Man, a couple dudes, man. DeColo is one for sure. He used to not kill me, but I used to watch like, cause he don't move fast.
That's the thing.
His pace his pace and just using angles and knowing how to draw fouls. When you put your hand in, just don't put your hand in.
It's over.
Like just him understanding how to use angles in his body and like just always never sped up. I'm sorry. I used to always like watch him like, yo, he don't talk. Like that's my kind of player. You know what I'm saying? So I got a lot of respect for him. Obviously he's older now, but I still got a lot of respect for him. I played against him a lot when he was in Finner. I may have played against him maybe once when he was in Cheska.
Mm-hmm.
Can't remember, but I got a lot of respect for that dude for sure. I'm trying to think of one more. When I first got, Nick was one, Kalatis. Obviously the coverage on him, a lot of people going under, but him just reading the game and just a pace. As I've gotten older in my career, I've cared more about pace. Pace is the key to everything. Like you don't have to be super fast, but if you have that pace to your game, you're one of the hardest guards to guard. So I think I always watch guards that have that nice steady pace, don't ever get sped up. Because once you have that, then it's tough to guard you.
I mean, before you even go, I just have to ask. You mentioned Cole and like not talking and that being like your type of player.
Yeah.
You grew up in New York and they talk
but
a lot.
I've never been a talker because I'm ready to fight.
New game. Yeah.
I don't want to
feel
talk.
you.
I just want to hoop. So now if you sitting here talking this, talking that, get in my face, now I'm just ready to fight.
Yeah.
I don't want to. So let's just hoop. Let's keep a hoop. Let's hoop. Like if you talking a little trash here, I don't care. But if you talking crazy and just now it's going somewhere else. So I've never been a trash talker unless you talk to me. That's never been my thing. Going to the game, I'm talking to you. Even if you my homie, I won't talk to you. We're going to hoop after the game, cool. Whatever, we talk all day. But in the game, I'm blocked in, we hooping. Obviously, you crack a little joke here and there. Whatever, I'm with you. But like to talk trash, and that's just never been my personality. I'm just trying to hoop, do my thing, and then, but yeah.
I've seen K try to get under your skin.
Who?
Kendrick Nunn. A little bit, little trash talk here and there.
It don't work though.
I know.
It don't work.
And I think he knows now too.
I think so too.
Yeah.
But the the art of the game, I love that part of it. Cause this is how I grew up, but that don't faze me one bit. And I don't know, and that's, maybe that has worked with other players. I don't know. But I appreciate when he does it though.
I mean, it's a sign of respect.
Obviously, in the moment, we get after it.
Yeah.
But I appreciate when he does that. It makes me feel like I'm home a little bit, or it's like somebody finally is on, something like, because sometimes it could get boring. It could get boring sometimes.
I mean, they don't do that in Europe. We don't.
This
talk.
is not a thing. You know what I'm
Exactly,
saying?
we
So,
don't talk.
and I respect that, but me and him go at it all the time. But it's much love to him, much respect. Got super game, but I appreciate it sometimes. I'm not tripping. You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously we could take it far. we could take it a bit far, but I still love that aspect of it though. You know what I'm saying?
Who's your toughest cover, bro?
My toughest cover, like guarding, I don't want to say because
Yeah, no, hey, you still playing.
but, I don't like the little short guards. Oh, I don't like them. I don't like them. They tough. Yeah, they just, I don't like.
Yeah, but
They. That's all I say.
I like that.
Is it a problem because if you say Shane, Mike's coming for you. If you say Mike, Shane's coming for you.
No,
okay?
so I
He's
like.
thinking
I
more
like.
shoot like what
Yeah, like
TJ.
TJ.
I'd rather-
TJ,
Wow,
Tyrese Rice, for example, back in the day.
a few other.
Let's not do names because
Don't do
you know what I'm
names,
saying. Like, I feel like the
we
names.
go instantly.
Yeah, we leave right there.
But then
Short-
let's flip it. Then flip it. Like who's the best? Like who guards you well? I don't want to say who you have a tough time.
Tough too. Who guards me well?
Come on, he's still.
See,
so he says
respectfully.
So what,
Respectfully.
for me, is different type of defenders. It's good team defenders that will be physical enough and get under you enough to send you to the help. And then you have defenders that are just good on-ball defenders. For me, I don't think no on-ball defender for me can stop. Because once I'm getting into what I'm getting into, I'm a shooter. I have a lot that I can go to depending on how you want to call it. So that's why I always, not in a cocky way, but it's like I've studied the game enough to know what kind of player you are. I can just shoot over you. So I don't have to do all of this and that. Oh, you like to really reach. So I know I'm going to work my angle. So it just depends on the defender that's going to help me to know what I'm going to get. So that's kind of like how I read the game. Like I know, like Wade Bowen, he has extremely long arms. Me and him used to play one-on-one Olympiacos after every practice. So I know pull-ups don't work with him because he knows that I like to do a lot, and he has long enough arms to contest it and block it. Boubois, another one, he has really long arms, so he'll contest shot. And then you got Alpha. I love Alpha.
I was gonna say that.
But Alpha Alpha, I love you, bro, but he know he can't guard me. I love Alpha. I love Alpha, though. I love it. And me and him he talks so much to me in these games, and I love Alpha to death. And he always do the little slick, he'll just hold your hand, grab your arm, like free throw line, you dap your teammates. He try to dap you up too. Like he do all of those. And I'm like, bro, just play me one-on-one. Like, just no help, no nothing. Like, me and Alpha then had our battles for sure. I love Alpha. He didn't play great defense on me. Strip me one-on-one for sure. But I like Alpha. I like Alpha. Like that's my dog. But it's some good defenders. But I look at the game totally differently. So whatever your strengths are, I'ma just go away from it. I know I could get to other counters.
You can post up as well. That's why I wanted to mention Alpha, because when you talk about guards, people are going to bring up Baldwin, Thomas Walkup, or Jaren Grant. But I feel like Alpha's probably the most versatile defender in the league. So if you're saying that he can't guard you, then I rest my case.
But I would now in a crowd, he's a really good defender. But I wouldn't put Alpha
ISO
in a crowd. I would need him with no help. And I can
On the island.
I can kind of do my, so now you like you don't know which way I'm about to,
right,
So
right.
you got to kind of be more strategic and not just, you got to be strategic because it's a lot of good, solid defenders in EuroLeague. So you got to kind of use more IQ a lot of time.
We spoke about you leading Armani to the Final Four, right? They haven't made it to the Final Four since then, just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
Moving to Partizan with the gamble, going back to the Euro Cup, et cetera. The viral shot and And, what could have been, you've talked about this in plenty of interviews before. Let's talk about more recent stuff. 43-point night, double overtime. I was watching that game. I think one of the Greek teams was playing. I'm like, all right, I'm done with you right now. I'm just going to focus on this. What's it like to be in that kind of a zone when you're giving them the business, whether it's from the 3-point line, getting to the line, post-ups, pull-up middies? What's it like to be that guy in that game? Give us your POV.
So when I have games like that, the only thing I go back to is all the hours I've been put.
The work.
That's all I think about is them hours in the summertime, them early mornings where I'm coming into the gym early, getting my shots, doing my work. That's all I think about when I have 30-point games, when I have 43-point games, things like that. That's all I think about. That's it. It's real to the point. Things like that keep me like, I gotta keep working. You just have 43. I gotta stay locked and I gotta get back to the gym. We gotta look for things to tweak and get better. Like we gotta keep, cause it's working. Look what you just is working. So let's keep working. Like that's all I think about.
I remember TLC was having a crazy game. He was hitting every big shot.
Yeah, he had a great game.
And you responded every big shot they made, every momentum changing shot. You always had a response. So, can you talk about, the Colt, quote unquote, mentality? Like you talk about trusting the work, but it's also mentals, right?
For sure.
How do you stay so calm? We call you, certified bucket, a killer, but how do you stay so calm in all these moments?
Because I had moments where I wasn't calm early in my career and I didn't like how it played out for me. So a lot of times the reason why I don't talk is because I'm at my most calmest state. And a lot of times I've noticed with me is like, if I get too riled up, I start playing too fast. I start making bad decisions. I'm not in the space that I need to be to perform. So a lot of times I won't talk and I'm in a certain vibe because I feel like that's where I play the best. So that's pretty much, like, even when he was making those tough shots and we was coming back down scoring, it's just like, you just got to stay calm at all times.
I remember we came and watched your El Clasico last year and you had like 4 points going into the fourth. And I remember it was like the double OT game.
Yeah.
And everyone
I remember that game, yeah.
And it's like, you weren't talking, you were missing your shots, you got to the line a couple of times, weren't like connected in your free throws. Fourth quarter rolls around, boom. And it's like, I remember telling Denzel, I was like, not one word was said. You didn't change anything. You trusted your work the entire time. I was like, regardless, this guy's about to flip a switch. And I remember you pull up left, pull up right, game goes into OT and you guys bag it. I was like, not one word was said. He didn't change anything. He trusted his work. That is who Kevin Punter is. Like,
mind you, I'll be pissed during the game.
I can understand,
but
bro.
We don't see it though.
But you don't want them to see that. You don't want the defenders to be like, oh, I got him out of his bag. I got him doing his other thing. It's like,
and I always tell myself, you can start the game off, miss the first 3 shots. Hey, just stay calm. Cause a lot of times you miss your first 3 shots and you start to cursing and it's a trickle effect.
Yeah.
But if you miss your first 2-3 shots, just stay the course. It's a long game. It's 40 minutes. Just stay the course. For example, right? We played Madrid on the road. I think I had 2 points, 2 free throws. The game after that had 0 points. We played Dubai at home. I missed my first 2-3 shots.
I was at that game.
Yes.
I was at that game. Yeah.
Most people don't know what I was going through internally because I'm here. I had 2 or 4 points against Madrid, and then the next game after that, I had 0 points. I was 0 for 10.
It's crazy.
So now, any player, you're probably overthinking everything. We go to Dubai. Well, Dubai comes to us. I missed my first 2 shots of the game. They were open shots.
And one was a hit the rim in and
You know
out.
what I'm saying? And it was like, come on, bro. Really? But I stayed the course. Mind you, I was fuming a little bit, but it's like, stay the course. And I end up with 20, something like that.
And basically the game winner.
Yeah, it's something, but I had, but I say all that to say is like, just stay the course. Just stay the course. Like, you understand how much work you put in. It's going to be good days, it's going to be bad days, 1,000%. Stay the course.
Did you feel any difference in your career? Because, I mean, you've been just going up, and then you end up at Barcelona, it's Barcelona. So did you feel a difference in the amount of pressure you had walking into that situation?
No, not really, bro. Nah, not really. I think me walking into the situation was just, it's just more like, it's just expectation.
Yeah.
Like any other yearly club, any club I play for in my career, any club you come into is expectation. Whether you with Partizan, Milan, Olympiacos, it doesn't matter. I carry that with me, you know. So
Let's get some quick fire
we
questions.
got some fun stuff, and actually this is trying to be the theme. So I'm gonna go off script a little bit. This clip on our social media accounts has like almost 9,000 likes. The caption reads European KD. So what would you say is your NBA comparison, if you've ever thought about that, or somebody, or a fan, or a nephew, or somebody has said that?
I mean, my favorite player is Kevin Durant. I watched him a lot. Growing up, I always heard I was too skinny. I always had to get stronger. And he was the first player I ever watched that was extremely skinny. But he's cooking dudes, killing everybody. So, but yeah, KD, he's for sure my favorite player, for sure.
KD top 5 for you?
Huh?
KD top 5 for you?
In my opinion, for me, for sure, 1,000%.
Let's hear it then.
So I'm gonna go with the 5. The 5, I'm gonna go Shaq.
Okay.
The 4, I'm gonna go KG.
Agreed.
3 man, I'm gonna go Kevin Durant.
Okay.
2, Kobe.
Okay.
At the 1, Lou Will.
Lou Will.
Lou Willville. Wow.
Respect.
Lou Will. I like, and for me, it's a reason why. So, for example, Lou Will is because me and him are like that. Yeah, score the ball. He don't move super duper fast. He's not a high flyer. He's not none of that. He's still.
Did you check that cup? Or was there anything in this cup? Or is it?
I don't know, but listen to this. I covered Lou Will for the Clippers, like the year he won 6th man.
Yeah.
Patrick Beverly was there, you know, that team with Gallinari and all that. And it was crazy to watch a guy like that, slower. You know, he had this little pump fake that was slow, and he still get a shot.
Yeah. So it's the. I don't want to get too much, but yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, right? Because I do it.
There you go.
That's why you won't get into it. Like, I don't want to explain how I do it.
No.
I
That
do
part.
it. And I do it sometimes, but I know don't do it.
Yeah.
But I know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay.
And
well,
that messes defenders up bad. Like dudes be jumping all over trying to miss timing. Yeah, like so I used to watch him a lot, just how he just got to his spots, how he just not the fastest dude, but he gonna shoot over everybody. And he's not that tall. And then who's Kobe, his mentality. Kobe's Kobe. I grew up watching Kobe. Kobe's Kobe though, you know. KD, just the fact that he was skinny, do whatever you wanted at Texas, dunking, shooting a 3, get 25, 15 rebounds, 5 blocks. KG, another one, his mentality, just trying to destroy everything moving. Like that mentality, I feel like is always needed in basketball. And Shaq is just the most dominant 5 in my opinion. Shaq and Shaq.
crazy is he says Lou Will, and I don't think about basketball. I think about, you know, now that he does podcasts, obviously he's really good. He spoke about the New York Knicks game because I watched that game and it was really bad. You've seen that where he said he was super drunk and Doc Rivers left him in the game.
Yeah.
Right? And I remember that game and I was too young to understand that this guy's out, but it's crazy how you get players to voice now. You see, we have Paul George, we have Chima doing the pod, and thank you for coming last year and talking. So it's always exciting to see their point of view and why, because there's so many stereotypes. And at the end of the day, you know, us media members, we have an opinion, but it's different to hear it from you guys. And it's a big time privilege, for sure.
Other than yourself, if EuroLeague had a one-on-one contest, who would win?
Probably Mike.
If you got to select someone to hit a game-winning shot, who would it be?
EuroLeague.
And you're on the same team. You go past the rock.
That
So
makes it
catch
even
and shoot.
tougher.
Catch and shoot. I like it.
He's throwing it. He's
I
throwing
like it.
the
Little
seasoning. He's making it tougher than already
another
is.
team. Yeah, no. You got the rock. You got past that.
Oh my God. That makes
I'm
it
gonna go
worse.
Will Clyburn on my
Okay,
team.
then. Best. Give us one teammate who's always late.
Late for what though?
Late for the bus, late for practice, late for anything.
I ain't gonna lie, we got a team. Everyone's always on time.
I like this guy, man.
Everyone's always on time.
What about back in the
Facts.
day? How about back in the day, maybe? Maybe somebody in Italy, a little bit more.
Lesort, Matthias.
Yeah, Matthias Beyond. He was late for us, bro. He was late for us.
He was late for
He
y'all?
kept us waiting like 2.5 hours for like, bro. We got love for you though, but
That's my brother
yeah, facts.
through and through. Like we talk like every single week about everything that has nothing to do with basketball. So, but yeah, Matthias, you gotta start tripping out, bro.
how psyched are you? You know, after all that he's been through.
Man, super happy.
After
I'm
a year and
just
a half.
super happy. I'm just ready for him to just bring that energy, bring
Yeah,
that
bro.
tenacity, and just have fun again, man.
Like we know, the Fly Club is presented by Turkish Airlines. We'd love to ask you a question. If there's one place in the world that you would love to go to that you haven't been to yet, where would that be?
That'd be Japan if you haven't been there. Everybody wants to go to Japan.
Really? Why?
No?
I'm not a
Food,
I don't
culture?
like to travel though.
You don't like to?
I'm not a traveler. But yeah, Japan.
No. Cut that out. Cut that out.
Nah, let me
Give us
think.
something.
Let me think. Santorini.
You haven't been there?
I've never been there.
It's beautiful.
I got
I've
you.
never been there.
Yeah. I got to ask him this question because this is important, right? So before you answer this question, so we want to know from you who we should have on this episode next. Like, give us one guest that we got to have on this podcast. Before you give us the guest, you got to help us bring him on the show. Who can it be?
And you can't say Zach Lede or Matthias.
Wow.
I'm already working on that. I'm already working on that myself. I don't.
All right. And I gotta help you get him.
Yes, sir.
Get Justin Anderson on.
Justin Anderson?
I like Jay.
I like it.
Justin Anderson
I
on
like
here. Yeah.
He can give us some NBA stuff too.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
Joel Embiid.
I think Jay is a good storyteller too.
Yeah.
I think he for sure got some good stories, especially when he was in the league. His experiences here. So I can help you with that one. That's cool.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you. That's it for this episode of the Fly Club. We're so thankful to be joined by KP. We want everyone to hit that like button. Make sure you let us know in the comments who you want to see next. Until next episode, we out. Peace.